Welcome to Cellmates.
Welcome to Cellmates.
Hey, Kate Phillips.
Hi, Dick Ward.
Hey, Kate, did you know that this is a podcast that takes two animated movies, and like compares, contrasts, and generally throws a Venn diagram over them?
I did know that. Dick, did you know that often they are Disney?
But not always.
Often they are musicals.
But not always.
Often they are good.
But not always.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Hey.
Did you know that this is being recorded and released in 2019, this episode?
Yes.
We lied to our fans.
We lied. Sorry, last episode we didn't know days of week, and we were unsure of day of week advance.
Look, it's the holidays. It's hard to figure out what is what. Up is down, left is right. I am full of all sorts of food.
Confused, unsure of day of week.
That's great.
My favorite meme.
Yep.
So welcome back in 2019.
Thank you. Oh, welcome back to you too.
Had we looked at a calendar, we would have realized that our next episode was not going to be in the next year, not yet, unless we dropped the ball. Which we had the option to do, but instead of doing that...
Well, the ball drops at midnight on the 31st/the 1st.
So instead of just not recording an episode in the 24 hours after returning...
Which was my idea.
From a week long of travel, we just kind of binged 2 movies and this recording session in one day.
So instead of doing nothing, we did everything.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Happy not New Year.
Well, happy whatever. And happy holidays if you're listening to this near a holiday that you celebrate.
Yeah.
We're not assuming that you celebrate Christmas. We're not even assuming that you're listening to this in late December, early January.
Or celebrating New Year's.
If you are listening to this in April and you happen to celebrate Easter, happy Easter.
Happy holiday.
Look, if there's a holiday within 2 weeks of this episode when you're listening to it, I hope it's a happy one.
Even if it's just cheersing a drink with a friend that you may or may not be recording a podcast episode with. Dick, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy holiday.
Happy holiday.
What are you drinking?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing is I'm drinking the tears of every other podcaster who is wishing that they had this exclusive reveal on Mandalorian Season 2, which has been revealed, and we're the first people able to tell you this. It's the new season will be called Baby Yoda: The College Years.
Oh no! Let's do a couple seasons before.
Nope. The Beast is gonna appear. He's gonna be the principal. It's gonna be great.
Okay.
No, Kate, I am. In answer to your
what
question,
I am drinking.
I'm drinking a bright white Belgian-inspired wheat ale from Bell's in Comstock, Michigan.
But really,
Bell's Brewery.
What matters is bright white.
Yeah.
Dick, can you name, just off the top of your head, what are some things you associate with being bright white?
The Republican Party.
Hey,
Hey-o!
Bright white.
Joe Biden's teeth.
Yes.
Yeah, very bright and white.
Not always his eyeballs. That's okay.
Sometimes red.
That's okay.
That's okay.
I don't know, like...
Oh, like a marshmallow.
Like a marshmallow.
Yeah.
Bright white.
It's bright and white.
Like,
What about you, Kate? Anything leap to mind?
I don't know, like freshly fallen snow. Bright white.
Yeah, or like really thick ice. Mm-hmm. Like, is like kind of a white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthcare robots.
Friendship. Like siblings.
So the outside of sushi, if that's the way the roll is made.
Yeah, unless it's a roll with
a Anyway, so
we watched 2 movies.
We watched 2 movies, and then we had a couple options in terms of finding a drink, and this was the first one we found.
So what movies did we watch?
We watched 2 movies with bright white something.
So what movies did we watch?
We watched Big Hero 6 with a bright white Baymax.
Yeah.
And we watched Frozen with bright white a lot.
Everything.
A lot, including Olaf, including all the characters.
Yep.
Including
not the trolls.
Most of the set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Snow. Snow is white.
And most of the characters' hairs, almost.
Well, at some point in time.
So why did we choose these two movies?
We chose these two movies, ironically not for the bright white, even though we're able to list a lot of things. These are both siblings movies. One centers around a pair of sisters. One, among other things, centers around a pair of brothers.
Yeah.
And so we thought these would be interesting to put side by side, compare, contrast, and Venn diagram. Because they have different angles, and yet there is a lot of interesting overlay or interplay, whatever the word may be.
Yeah, that's true. But before we talk about these movies, before we do our cookie timers, I thought it might be fun to reflect on, this is the last podcast of the decade.
There will be no other podcasts that are recorded or come out in the next 3 days.
This is the last of our podcasts
Great.
of the decade. And I thought it
is.
might be nice to look at the past decade and just do like a quick look through, see what happened in animated movies.
Movies. Well, see, like both of these movies happened in the last decade.
That's actually true.
For starters.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Well, I wanted to take a look, kind of go year by year and see, like, hey, what was good?
Yeah.
All right. So 2010 was a cool year. We had Toy Story 3, Shrek Forever After. Well, okay. Tangled.
It was a year.
We had Despicable Me. We had How to Train Your Dragon. So, like, a couple of things from not Disney.
Yeah, you've got some franchise starters in there.
Yeah. Yeah, 2010 kind of set the tone for the rest of the decade. Because Despicable Me starts off your Minions train.
Right.
Tangled starts off all the Tangled sequels.
Well, no, it does start off the new
princesses.
And the new Disney musicals.
Yeah.
Princess and the Frog was the year before, but it was 2D. This sets off your 3D musicals.
Yeah. Kate, do you have a favorite of those?
Tangled. Toy Story 3 is great.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen it all the way through still without sleep, but it's great.
I would have said
I think I like better.
I would have said Tangled until I saw How to Train Your Dragon, and now I say How to Train Your Dragon.
That's a good one too.
Despicable Me I liked a lot. I haven't seen it in a while.
I haven't seen it yet.
Quick shout out to Secret World of Arrietty, which is a movie I haven't seen, but it's a Studio Ghibli movie.
All right.
So shout out. Hope you enjoyed it. 2001, Kate, was
2001.
Sorry, 2011.
Back in time.
Was the worst year?
Well, it seems that way. So I'm looking, Dick, you found a more comprehensive list, but I was just kind of perusing through the Academy Award nominations for animated movie.
Oh man, let's see. What do we got?
Which did not include Tangled the year before, so it's invalidated already. We got Rango, A Cat in Paris, Chico and Rita, Kung Fu Panda 2, and Puss in Boots. In 2011. And
let me tell you some titles.
Those are the Oscar nominated.
Let me tell you some high grossing titles that were not nominated. We got Cars 2, Rio, The Adventures of Tintin, Romeo and Juliet, and of course Arthur Christmas.
So moving on to 2012.
Please.
No, wasn't 2011 Winnie the Pooh? Or was that?
Oh, it might have been.
The new Winnie the Pooh?
Might have been.
One of those years.
But let me tell you, Tintin's okay.
Okay. So we got, and then next year we've got Brave, we've got Paranorman, which apparently is great. We've recently...
I'm so confused by that, but yeah,
heard
it's
seen.
Amazing.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
So you got some, any others you found than that? Those are...
Oh yeah, Kate, the highest grossing movies of the year, Ice Age Continental Drift and Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted.
I saw Madagascar 3.
I know you saw it on a field trip.
I went on a field trip last minute.
Not as a student.
Not as a student, and not really as a teacher. I was subbing for a different kindergarten, or a different teacher who taught kindergarten. It was a disaster, including the movie.
2012 also brought us Frankenweenie, the animated version of the Tim Burton short, which I recorded a solo 30 Days of Plus episode of that we didn't need to release.
You should just release that as a secret to everyone.
That'll just go out
surprise.
At some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Brave. I think Brave
Yeah.
is the best of
Brave-
what we've listed.
Brave's my winner there. Wreck-It Ralph's really good, but Brave's
So the
the bravest.
the next year, you've got one of our movies today, Frozen.
Okay. Heard of it.
And that kind of overshadows anything else that happens in 2013 in terms of just cultural zeitgeist. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
we could talk about our favorites,
you've
but
got-
Frozen is the animated movie of the decade.
I don't know. I heard little kids talking about Turbo, the racing snail movie.
But you also got the Croods, who, like, it's Chris Sanders' other one besides Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon, which are both great. So
And what else did Chris Sanders do?
the Mufasa ghost sequence in The Lion King. So
Chris Sanders just does good things that
This-
we've seen.
this might be okay. I tried watching the Croods and fell asleep after 7 minutes,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
Monsters U also came out.
Okay.
Despicable Me 2. This is before they realized that they should just start making Minions movies.
Yeah, that's okay. So Frozen's good. Next year,
Oh, sorry. Also, Epic, which stars who?
Steven Tyler, Noom Galoo.
As Nimgaloo.
All right, we got to start moving through these years faster.
All right,
I'm
let's go.
already bored. Big Hero 6 is the next year.
Yes.
You got some sequels, but that seems like it.
Lego Movie.
Movie, but it's not nominated for the Oscar, which is
For
dumb.
some reason.
But Big Hero 6 wins anyway, and it
That's right.
probably would.
Anything good in 2015? Probably not. Let's move on.
Probably no. The Good Dinosaur came out in
Oh,
2015,
boy.
but earlier that year, Pixar put out a real movie, and it was called Inside Out,
Yeah.
and it is my favorite of the decade.
And it is the second highest grossing movie to Minions.
Oh, Minions was also not nominated for an Oscar.
Shocking.
The year of shutouts.
2016.
Moana, Zootopia,
Uh-huh.
Kubo and the Two Strings, which I've heard is very good.
Oh, yeah. We got to watch that.
So, I mean,
Oh, man. Finding Dory, Secret Life of Pets.
I was just going to say Moana might be my favorite, but if Finding Dory's on there, that
Yeah.
wins.
Finding Dory wins.
All right, next year is Coco and Coco.
Well,
Like
whoa. Lego Batman movie? We liked the Lego Batman movie.
Boss Baby.
Ferdinand is possibly the best animated movie starring John Cena, but
There
I
are a
don't know.
couple.
I
There
haven't
are several.
seen Ferdinand yet, so
No, he's in one of the Snowman movie, isn't he? He's got to be.
Almost certainly.
There
but I
are so
haven't-
many Snowman movies.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah.
So
Yeti movies, I should clarify.
2018 though, clearly nothing groundbreaking. So it's just like Incredibles 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Hotel Transylvania 3. We don't have to talk about anything else.
Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, is that the song we're doing?
I don't know.
I liked it.
I thought that was maybe
I thought
a song that
Sunflower was
someone
the
did.
like official Spider-Verse song.
Into the Spider-Verse. That
Nice.
fits worse.
And of course, Boonie Bear's The Big Shrink.
And then, of course, this year, you've got... So Spider-Man maybe wins that.
Yeah.
This year, you got Frozen 2, Toy Story 4, some other sequels, How
The
to Train Your
Lion
Dragon
King?
3. That's false.
Is it an animated movie?
Not really.
It is 100% CG.
Are the backgrounds too?
I don't know.
They ended up doing the backgrounds. That's a cheat. That is a cheat.
So
When
that-
you said that is the...
That animated movie is not an animated movie?
It's not an animated movie.
Well, it looks animated to me.
It doesn't.
That's actually fair. It does not look animated.
Doesn't. It
but
doesn't
is.
look anything.
But it is
looks
animated.
Scary.
But so you'd say Frozen 2 is your movie of the year?
I mean, probably Toy Story 4.
Huh.
Everyone...
You didn't see that.
No, but everyone who's seen it is like, we didn't need a Toy Story 4. And fine, it's great.
My
Like,
movie of
that
the
is-
year.
That is the general...
My movie of the year is Klaus.
Oh, yeah, Klaus. Hey, all right. I hope that's...
I'm doing the John Cena hand.
I hope that
at
gets a
Kate
little
right
bit
now.
more push because
All
more
right.
people should see Klaus.
Yeah, well, I hope
So
you all
anyway,
enjoyed that.
This was just for us.
Yeah, we didn't really have a great plan, so I
No,
hope...
I thought that would generate more lively discussion.
Yeah,
Anyways,
but it wasn't too long. We're only 15 minutes in, so
So 2013 and 14. Let's take a closer look at those 2 years because
All right.
those are the movies we're doing on this episode.
that sounds great. Kate, what is your experience with Frozens?
So I actually saw Frozen a little bit late because it came out like Thanksgiving time.
Did you see it in theaters?
I saw it in theaters the day after Christmas, which is a family tradition. Including this year, we saw a movie the day after Christmas.
Yeah, the best movie I've ever seen in my life. Cats.
We're going to just start singing the songs again if we're
We
not
are
careful.
not. We need our listeners.
We'll talk about that as separate because that's almost all animated as
It
well.
is almost all. We'll do a Cats Lion King episode.
That's actually what we should do.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Kate,
I think
tell me
Cats
about,
might come on
Tell
our
me
top.
about Frozen.
Frozen, I saw it in theaters. It was one of those. It's especially one of those soundtracks that is instantly. It's really great musical theater. It's Kristen Anderson Lopez and Bobby Lopez, and just every song is a winner, and you know it in the theater. At least that was my perception. The best part of seeing it in a theater was right after Let It Go, and she turns the "Cold never bother me anyway." Bling. There's a 7-year-old boy in the row in front of us who turns and does a poor job at whispering, "If she was real, I'd marry her."
Aww.
And it was cute.
That's really cute.
And I love it. I love the comedy in it. I think Olaf is one of my most reliable Disney laughs. The soundtrack is great. The movie is really, really good. And I am just really pleased that it has had the legs and the super legs it has had. My kids, in general, my elementary school kids catch on to big old movies a year later. That's when they get obsessed. So it was
Once
Frozen
it comes out on
all
video,
the
they can
time.
watch it over and over.
I was a superstar in my school because I knew how to play Let It Go on the piano. Nothing else I can do as a music educator superseded that for years and years. Big hit for them still. Still kids are talking about Frozen. So that's a pretty good movie. Dick, what about you?
I saw Frozen later. I saw it on Blu-ray or DVD.
Oh,
And I was pretty drunk, and I cried like crazy.
that's correct. Yeah.
The movie got me. Hasn't since, but at the time it got me.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah, I'll be
did,
interested to talk about that.
but it got me. Anyway, and then after that, I mean, you know the song.
Yeah.
The song. It's everywhere. I've sung it at karaoke. I've seen it sung karaoke.
It's a really good song.
Yeah.
I don't. You could I think we are past the hump of making fun of how ubiquitous it is because it has dropped off, and just it's agreed upon that it's an excellent song.
Yeah.
Cool. So we didn't decide this earlier. Who's gonna summarize this one? Here's the question: do you want to summarize this one or the other?
I'll do this one because I can remember more characters' names.
Cool. I don't think I have to remember many characters' names in the other one. That's what
Well,
I'm going to say. All
There's
right, Dick,
Hero and Baymax.
you've
and then
got
whoosh.
2 minutes on the cookie timer clock. Go make a snowman.
Okay, so there's these girls, Anna and Elsa. One of them got some magic. Surprise, it's Elsa. And she accidentally zaps Anna. And these trolls are like, yeah, we got you. And they heal Anna, but make her forget the magic zap. So Elsa is locked in her room as she doesn't come out. But then, oh no, their parents die.
Oh, no.
And the girls are grown up, and Elsa has to be coronated as queen. And she has to take off her gloves to do that for reasons. So she accidentally makes some Frozen stuff happen after Anna falls in love with the guy. It is weird. She says she's gonna marry him. Elsa scares everyone, maybe hurts people. So she runs off in the forest and makes a cool ice castle. And Anna goes after her, and she meets this guy Sven and his reindeer Sven, and they meet a snowman named Olaf that her and Elsa made when they were kids. And they find Elsa, and Elsa's like, "Go away." And they're like, "No." And Elsa's like, "No, go away. I'm going to send a big snowman after you." And they go, "Oh, no." So they run away. But then they come back, and some guys try and kill Elsa. And then Elsa comes back, but she accidentally zaps Anna. And then Anna has to find true love. And so she kisses Hans, but Hans won't kiss her. And he's also like, I don't love you. And she's like, what? But you said you did. And he's like, nope. And then Elsa comes back and...
Do you need an assist?
Nope, I got this. So she lets it go. You don't signal me. That's not helpful. That's less helpful.
Oh.
Anyway, Anna... Elsa's going to be killed, so Anna sacrifices herself. Cookies are done. Hold on. Give me like 10 more seconds.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. Elsa's going to be killed by some bad guys. So Anna sacrifices herself to save her sister. And it turns out that's an act of true love. And she didn't need no man. It wasn't about boy kisses. It was about love for your sister. And then it's summer.
To be fair, every time we've watched this movie, during that ending, you have said out loud, I forgot about this part.
I do.
Like, you've seen this movie at least 3 times, and you haven't remembered it any time.
There is so much of this movie
Good work getting through it.
that just does not stay in my mind. Like Fathoms Below in Little Mermaid,
It
where
has
like
a very Fathoms opening.
we hadn't watched I hadn't watched Little Mermaid in like 10 years, and I was over at your place, and we started, and I'm like, what is
What movie is this?
Oh, Fathoms Below. I forgot there was a song
Where's
here.
the chick with the red hair?
And then like the fish falls into the water, and Little Mermaid, the movie I remember, starts. But there's this beginning thing I totally forgot about. Frozen has like 5 of those.
Frozen has
Just
several
all
of
these
those,
segments that like go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah, you kind of, I mean, because I pick and choose songs that go on my playlist entitled Soundtrack Cheer.
Yeah.
And the first one from Frozen is Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
Yeah.
So in my memory, that's where the movie starts.
Uh-huh.
But no, you need some backstory for that.
You don't.
Well, yeah, before
You need 30 seconds of backstory.
She curses Anna and they visit the trolls, and you need that.
Okay.
But you don't need Kristoff as a boy ice maker.
It gives you nothing.
Because it doesn't ever factor back in.
Yeah.
And that is one thing about this movie. They made some changes, sometimes not last minute and sometimes last minute, that there's sometimes threads left in single acts. And I feel like in each of the 3 acts, there are threads there that just never get discussed, or they come up out of nowhere, or they go into nowhere. And
and we'll talk all about that.
Yeah.
Kate, how long does this movie feel to you?
It feels at the beginning when it's like, oh yeah, all these scenes I forgot about. It feels longer, but it picks up toward the end. I thought the ending sequence went, at least for me this time, quicker than I thought it was going to. Like, once it starts snowballing toward the finish line, it goes rouse pretty quickly. And it's not, I think both these movies are like hour 45. So they're not that much longer than like the Renaissance solid 90.
If you told me this was like 2 or 2:15, I'd believe.
Yeah. I bet Frozen 2 is
It's probably
2 or 2:15.
Frozen. It's a very long feeling movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of sets.
If you cut 15 minutes out of Frozen, I think I'd be really happy with
I mean,
that.
most of it would be Kristoff, yeah. That's okay. Kristoff is a really great character that doesn't get what he deserves in either movie I've seen.
Yeah, he's not really used
none
well
of the
in either
Frozens
movie.
use Kristoff well, and that's fine. We love Jonathan Groff anyway.
Which, hey, you know what? There's plenty of movies about brothers where the love interest is a lady who is not used at all.
Also, Beauty and the Beast, the lady is not used very much. So
fair.
movies like that.
So it's, turnabout is fair play,
Yeah.
but it'd be nice to see something done with Kristoff because he's fine.
He's charming.
Kate.
All right. Oh, Dick,
Kate.
are we moving on to another Bright White?
I was going to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is that cool?
I'm ready.
So let's talk about Big Hero 6.
Mm-hmm.
When did you see Big Hero 6?
Recently, I think we saw it together for my first time. I don't know if you had seen
Oh,
it before
that
that.
might actually be true. I think we saw it together for our first time.
It was one of those. So this is in an era where Disney is both putting out musicals and then other movies that you're at the time there was a very confused me being like, what is Pixar? What is Disney? Who does what? Because like
Right.
Brave is Pixar, but it feels like
Yeah.
feminine heroine. It should be like in a tangled Frozen, and then Wreck-It Ralph seems Pixar, but it's Disney, and
Yeah.
so this is one for me that it is Disney, but it feels quasi Pixar in like its ambition and its emotional content.
Yeah. I could see that.
So, but it also is one of those movies that I just kind of skipped over until enough people told me, this is a really good one. Because then there's also stuff like Bolt in there, which is not a very good one.
Not to be confused with Turbo,
No.
the movie about a racing snail.
Right.
Kate, was this an Andy recommendation?
Yes. Yes.
So Andy, who's been on 2 of our episodes now,
Mm-hmm.
3 of our episodes now.
And a superhero comic book connoisseur. So this is Big Hero 6 starts as a Marvel comic book series. And this was the first, after Disney's acquisition of Marvel, this is the Marvel. Are we talking?
We talking about marbles?
After the acquisition, this is the first animated Marvel thing they do.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I saw it like a year or 2 ago.
Oh.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it again too because I got to pay attention to other things besides. This is a little bit more plotty than some other.
It was pretty plotty.
It's more plotty than Frozen, and Frozen's kind of plotty. Or like, I guess I need to
That's-
pay attention more. I don't know.
I would say that's up for debate.
That's up for debate. This is fair.
Yeah, because Frozen is pretty plotty.
Yeah. But there are some scenes where I don't know. Anyway, I like this movie a lot. Dick,
Yeah.
what about you?
Same. Do you want to summarize this movie?
Did you
Honestly-
get it recommended to you by anyone besides my brother?
No, I have the exact same origin story as you.
Great.
I think it's great.
All right.
No?
I'm going to summarize Big Hero 6.
All right, you got 2 minutes, Kate.
I
think
sure
you,
do.
Think you can do it? Do you need to review any character names?
I do. Hold on.
Baymax is
Baymax,
the robot.
There's Hero.
Hero is the boy
Is
who's
it-
a hero.
What's his brother's name?
Tanahashi?
Is their last name? Their last name is Hamada.
I believe that to be correct.
I think there's a D in his brother's first name. Oh no, Big Hero 6. This is a very well researched podcast. We
You know
always
what?
do a lot of research and know all the
Names-
names of the characters.
Names are hard.
All right, I've got it. All right. Here's my Tadashi.
Tadashi.
There we go. All right.
I was pretty close.
Here I go.
Go.
Hiro and Tadashi, brothers, both into science. Hiro builds robots and fights them. Tadashi is part of like a college science super class, and he's developing this healthcare nurse he calls Baymax. And Hiro's like, I don't know, I just like fighting robots. And Tadashi's like, no, you got to use him to help people. Like, if you're going to be smart and nerdy, do it to help people. He's got a whole group of friends, Tadashi does, who use their powers of science to help people. Anyway, there's a science fair, and Hiro enters, his application for the school is all these like magnetic, these microbots that can build things and build themselves, and they're magnetic against each other. And it's a great idea, and he gets accepted to the school, but there's a fire in the hall.
Oh, no.
And Tadashi goes back in to save his favorite professor, and oh no, they both die, and Hiro's very sad. So he doesn't come out of his room for weeks, except for he says, ow, and then his healthcare nurse, Baymax, pops up, and he's like, can I help you? And he's like, no, I'm fine. But like, he's like, no, you're grieving, and you have puberty, and that's not fine. So they go on adventures because Baymax's goal is to heal, his like coded goal is to heal Hiro. And so Hiro takes Baymax, Baymax, the microbot, gets attracted to other microbots. He's like, no, they were all destroyed in the fire. No, they weren't. This guy in a kabuki mask stole them and has been making more of them and is evil. And then they think, oh, it's this like Elon Musk guy. It's clearly him. And he gets together with all of his brother's friends, and they build super suits, and they try to fight Mr. Kabuki. But oh no, Mr. Kabuki is actually the professor they thought that died. He was shielded by the microbots, and then he's getting revenge on the Elon Musk guy for killing his daughter in a teleportation disaster, and he destroys all of his building and makes it go into this like time portal thing, and then Baymax and Hero go into this time portal thing to save the daughter, and then the only way they can get out is leaving Baymax behind, so he super shoots them, and the hero has to say, I am satisfied with my care. They leave Baymax in the portal, but they get splooshed out, and that's how it should end. Can I say that? That's how it should end. Like,
Okay.
he has to deal with, like,
Is
loss
this still
again.
part of the summary?
No, I'm done now.
Let's get through the end then.
That's where it should end. That's all.
Where does it end?
It ends, Hero's back in his room, also making stuff, and then he says, ow, and Baymax comes back to life because he saved his own healthcare chip, and he can make his own thing. And so they're superhero friends fighting crime in the city.
Yeah.
That part doesn't make sense.
Nope.
But, yeah.
Well, it makes sense. It's just not very good.
Yeah, it's not a very satisfying.
All right.
I'm not satisfied
So you're not satisfied with the ending.
with my ending.
So,
Ow.
sorry, where do you think the ending should be? Let's be a little more specific here.
I think the ending should
so
be...
so let's set it up again. Is Baymax makes a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. He sacrifices himself so that Hero can live. Mm-hmm. Do you think that is where it should end?
I am okay with a scene at the end where he finds the chip. Mm-hmm. He maybe like plugs it into something that doesn't look like a Baymax, either the computer or something, and then just hearing the voice.
Yeah.
Hello, I am Baymax. Like, and his eyes. I'm trying to think. There's
Yeah.
a movie that that's on the tip of my tongue that I'm referencing.
So is it that Baymax comes back
or that he can
that you
use
object
the
to?
chip for other things, because it said Baymax comes back in full form, gets to be fully suited up as a
Interesting.
robot superhero, and it's just back to where it was literally like 6 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It makes the ending, it makes the emotional punch of that I am satisfied with my care and the sacrifice that both
Yeah.
Baymax and Hero make to like get this woman out of the thing. It kind of negates those sacrifices.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I don't mind Baymax coming back because because he's a robot and it just makes sense. You can build a new robot.
Yes, I
What
think maybe I
what
needed.
I do mind though is them continuing to be superheroes. I think that's just I understand that this is like a Marvel book, and maybe in the Marvel book they're superheroes. I haven't read it, but like, yeah, it could have just ended with Baymax coming back, and we just done. Mm-hmm. Like,
And
the
maybe-
superhero thing is kind of out of nowhere. For me.
There's a sequence where you get to see Tadashi's like 85 tries at getting this Baymax to work, and I think you could have done something with that at the ending, where like Hiro is trying to like recreate this robot that his brother took 85 tries to make, and maybe
Yeah.
he's getting it wrong, and then all of a sudden he puts two wires together and it says hello,
Sure.
something like that.
So we could tweak the end.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think it's interesting that I'm saying hero, and you're saying hero.
They go back and forth in the movie.
I was about to say, because it is accurate to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The character's name is Hiro or Hiro.
Hiro.
But some like characters, there's some characters use like a more Japanese pronunciation,
Mm-hmm.
and some use a more English pronunciation. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily like an oversight.
No,
I just think it's interesting.
they created the city of San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is cool
Yeah.
artistically.
It's like a Tokyo
like,
San Francisco matchup.
Golden Gate Bridge with like, is the Japanese word pagoda? Is that, yeah. So you got like a Golden Gate Bridge with like a pagoda top. And
It's
just
really
little
not-
touches like that.
It's really
cool.
neat looking, yeah.
Cool. So, okay, in terms of the siblings
Yeah.
in this
Because
movie.
that was kind of our mashup. Is where
Yeah.
like these are kind of both sibling stories.
It seems to me that they're a little bit inverse of each other.
Say more.
In Frozen, they start out with a bonded relationship.
Yeah.
But then that split happens when Anna faces the near-death experience.
Yeah.
And they spend the entire movie trying to fuse back. I mean, not both. It's not Elsa's goal, but
They're trying.
you as an audience member are wanting them to fuse
is about
back.
them kind of restoring their relationship. Yeah.
Whereas in Big Hero 6, Tadashi and Hiro have a very tight relationship and a very supportive back and forth relationship. And then when Tadashi dies, the movie becomes about Hiro being able to process the death, process grief, and move forward with his own solo life that's separated from his grief and the memory of his brother.
Right.
So it's being able to be your own person even after you've lost someone that you're super close to.
Yeah.
So I think it's neat in that way because you have a very similar relationship, but the parts where they are strongly bonded are almost completely flipped. And I like that. I like that you can, I don't know. I think for a long time, Disney children's movies, and Disney is the main producer of them, are about a single character's journey, an I Want song. Mm-hmm. But in these two movies, and I think a lot of this decade of animation, to go back, are about some parallel wants and some parallel tracks, especially Frozen. We were, as we watched this, just going over those musical scenes again. It's like, oh, these are so well written.
Yeah.
That the traditional Disney formula is the main character has an I Want song, but Frozen's got two main characters. So you've got...
I don't know about that.
Say more for you.
Well, Frozen has one main character. It's a very nice I Want song for...
Who is the main character of Frozen?
Anna.
Okay.
Without question,
okay.
Anna is the main character of Frozen. Elsa is a very important secondary character,
mm-hmm.
and I think it's really cool that she does have an I Want song,
mm-hmm.
but we don't really care about Elsa's wants. We don't really care about, we don't really follow Elsa around. She's just kind of off.
We literally follow Elsa around.
No, we follow Anna following Elsa.
Okay. All right.
We as an audience don't
mm-hmm.
go to the Ice Palace and see Elsa dealing with stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We see that through Anna's eyes.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Aside from Let It Go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say, the biggest song on the show is just following.
But it's 4 minutes.
What I like so where I have a different view on this.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that, if you're going to choose one, it's more about Anna. But Elsa has the dynamic arc a little bit more so than Anna in terms of her worldview has to change. Whereas Anna's worldview she gets what she wants, but her worldview doesn't have to change to do it.
Kinda.
So
I think Anna's worldview changes pretty dramatically.
Okay, let's put a pin because I think I said the wrong thing. So in The First Time in Forever, which is the closest we get to an I Want song in this movie, it's Anna talking about how excited she is that they're opening the palace doors and she'll get to be a participant in the world for the first time.
She wants to meet people, fall in love,
and
do her thing.
Elsa has this counterpoint, literally and musically.
Yes.
That, her goal is conceal, don't feel. This is going to be a really dumb day, but I have to, this is going to be an agonizing day. It's it's agony to wait is a line they both say.
Sure.
And it means something totally different for both of them. And so I think it's neat, especially as someone who has seen the movie and knowing Elsa's track, is that hers is, she's countering Anna's I Want with an I don't want or I fear. She's so, and it's to me, this movie is about them on these parallel tracks where Anna is wanting the connection, Elsa is fearing it. And then, but really she has to undo the fear to get them both what they want, which is Anna's safety and sister love.
I don't think I
Mic-
understood the end there.
Mic drop onto a soft
I
pillow.
don't think I understood the end.
That's okay. I probably did. Yep.
Elsa needs to overcome the fear.
Yes, I think.
I don't think she does that.
So, okay, all right. So
Okay.
let's go into acts. Let's go into third act.
Let's talk about let's talk
about third
so
acts.
one of the things that's interesting about both of these movies
Mm-hmm.
is they have one, I want to say I really enjoy both of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
But they have some structural problems.
Mm-hmm.
Big Hero 6, I think a lot of it is in story construction and some of it is in third act. But Frozen very much has some story issues and very much has some third act problems.
Yes. Frozen has act problems in general. I wonder, to me, I don't notice. I had remembered Big Hero 6's like final action sequence being more confusing and superfluous than the first time I saw it than
Yeah.
this time. So to me, I don't have as many issues with their structural, but it might be because Frozen is working within a historical frame of like the Renaissance 3 acts.
Sure.
It's trying for a more traditional beginning, middle, and end. And I
Yeah.
feel like Big Hero 6 kind of flips that from the beginning, that you have this like dynamic, you're meeting all of Tadashi's friends that don't seem to have anything to do with anything.
And then they eventually tie
And then they
in.
disappear and then they come back, and that's a different
Yeah.
thing.
So Frozen
But
like
anyway,
you said,
back to
kind of
Frozen.
follows the tries to follow the Renaissance
Mm-hmm.
structure.
You've got some kind of opening sequence of world building. You got an I want. You've got the most, at least the most marketing friendly character coming in at almost exactly the halfway point.
That's your Timon and Pumbaa.
Timon and Pumbaa. That's really, it's like when Be Our Guest happens.
That's your Be Our Guest.
It's Genie and it's Olaf.
Yeah.
Like right at the halfway point, these characters that come to represent the movie in a lot of people's eyes are introduced halfway through the movie. So it does that. And so like as a musical, it knows where its beats are, but it's trying to do some unconventional things, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it went through enough rewrites late in the game that the acts don't. There are these kind of jarring moments where the puzzle pieces.
Let's
should
talk about the
fuse
elephant
together.
in the room. Mm-hmm. This is Hans.
Hans is he turns into a villain. Like 20 minutes before the end,
Based
and there's
on nothing.
no foreshadowing. There
Like-
is no preparation.
The first time I saw the movie, I just assumed, because I miss things, I just assumed I missed something. Honestly, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, no, there's probably a whole thing, and I
Yeah.
probably just missed it. Wow, that's clever. But then I watched it a second time, and I'm like, even watching this time, we're watching Hans because Anna goes to rescue Elsa. Hans is put in charge, and he does a really nice job.
He does a better job than the two royal people who abandoned their kingdom.
their people. He's like
He
handing
deserves
out.
to be in charge.
He's
All
handing
right.
out blankets. He's
Usurp
getting
the
everyone
throne.
into the main hall so
Yeah.
they can have hot soup.
Yeah.
He's leading the country pretty well,
Yeah.
or the city, or whatever.
Yeah. So
Hans is great.
So they try to do like a shade or two because he and the Wesselton dum-dums and
Weaseltown.
and the best joke in Zootopia,
Mm-hmm.
go off to find Anna, who went to find Elsa, but instead they just find Elsa and they capture her and they lock her up in a room with frozen muffs on her hands. And from that point, you kind of see that he's at least operating on fear. And that ties in with the central thread of the movie. And so you're like, okay, this Hans is misguided, but his intentions are fine.
Yeah.
But this is going to be bad for him. And then the scene where he goes, "Oh, I just wish that someone loved you," is out of nowhere.
It's just
You could have made it. So what happened here is in the original Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, the Snow Queen is the villain. And so I feel like I see this in the last moments of Let It Go. The smirk on her face and the cold never bothered me anyway. That in earlier drafts, she was going to then become the villain, and whether she would like reverse at the very end, right? Like see the error of her ways because of love. I don't know how that went, but Hans was developed as a character before they needed him to be a villain.
Right.
So like the duet is lovely. The Love is an Open Door, and it doesn't set him up at all. Him giving out blankets to people who are cold doesn't set him up at all.
No, he seems like a great guy.
Yeah.
I would love to see we talked even during the movie about some different ways to do that, and I would love to see him slowly corrupted, or I would like to see him even just have a point and being like, no, you ran off.
Yeah.
You don't get to be queen. I've been taking care of these people. Well, you ran off, and Elsa made like a frozen lake. Like I've been taking care. He would have a legitimate point, and he'd be a very compelling bad guy. Like he could take that too far.
Yeah.
Like killing Anna.
Yeah.
That beat could still be in there, and he could still be a very compelling bad guy.
Yeah.
Who we like feel for, and who like Elsa, like had good intentions, kind of screwed up, and then like her good intention of leaving, so that she didn't mess anyone up, like mess things up more.
Right.
Like we could have a very compelling bad guy here, but we don't.
But we don't. The Duke of Wesselton, or whatever his name is,
Weaseltown,
works better because he's the first one to call Elsa monster.
Yeah. I like that he's not the villain.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
But he could be I feel like you could have made this like a mob without Gaston situation. I mean, then all the people are
Yeah,
right.
then
They're
all the
accountable
people of
at the end,
Arendelle
and then you
are-
have to rule over them, and that gets dicey.
That's a
but
whole thing.
yeah, so they probably decided against that. But yeah, so structurally, there are some things.
Yeah.
I also remember like early posters of this was like Elsa and Kristoff on one side of Olaf and Anna and Hans on the other side.
Oh, interesting.
And their hair matches, right? And Kristoff he works with ice, which doesn't matter for anything in the movie.
No.
And so put a person who works with ice with someone who can make
Yeah, they
ice.
make kind of a big deal about that, and then nothing happens.
So I think they were supposed to both be coupled up with their respective hair twins. These are my theories.
Yeah.
Knowing nothing, I don't work for the Walt Disney Company.
Yeah, it is really interesting though. There's like some threads that are like there that are never explored. Yeah. Oh, do you like Hans like as a character?
I think he's charming.
Does he work for you at the beginning?
Yeah, because I think he works for me because of some conventions they throw in terms of the storytelling in musical theater. Like their romance duet is not I See the Light, it's not A Whole New World. It's this quirky, awkward thing. And that's fun. And so you're like, oh, Hans is cool. Like he's quirky and awkward like Anna, so they're a good match. Yeah, so I think he works, or he doesn't not work.
Yeah.
Kristoff's more fun, but given less to do than almost Hans.
Hans, I forgot, was a thing after the first time I saw the movie. And I think you and definitely other people have been like, yo, you want to do it? Love's an Open Door? I'm like, what's that? People are like, from Frozen. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What song? I don't like, for some reason, that whole section just like, whew.
Well, worse is that I discovered in the middle of seeing the Broadway show of Frozen last year that Love is an Open Door as a song is a reference to do you want to like to Anna knocking on Elsa's doors. I told you this at the time. Don't give me that surprise face. No, I discovered it 5 years later what that song's joke is.
Oh, because
I don't know. I just thought it was a thing to say, like, love is an open door.
So
open
like
book, open door. I don't know.
Like the first line,
like the central motif.
Like
yeah,
life has been a series of doors in my face.
Yeah. I did, like Anna's had some tough times. No, seriously, It's a clever song that has been going over my head for 5 years.
Literally about doors being closed.
Yeah. Oh, I get it.
She sings
I get it now.
First Time in Forever is basically about doors being open.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Windows open, so's that door. Yeah. It's the first line of like every song in the movie is
Yeah.
about doors. And
if this movie was called Doors, it would still work instead of
and it
Frozen.
might have still missed me.
Yeah. Speaking of what I discovered in watching Frozen on Broadway is that it wasn't very good.
But you still got to see Aladdin on Broadway to appreciate how good Frozen Broadway was, even though it wasn't very good.
I don't. I do need to see Lion King on Broadway
need to
because
see that.
I need to be shown that Disney can do something on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Frozen. So to be clear, Frozen was fine on Broadway.
That is the mode of review that I hear about it.
It
That is the
was
most common.
Way too
Fine.
long. Way too long.
Yeah.
Like it was an extra hour or something.
There's no reason any of the Disney ones, including Tamer's Lion King, need to be longer than the movie. Like, do the Disney Parks version of it.
And like, okay,
Charge
I
a
don't
lesser
mind
amount,
throwing
but you
another
can do
song
2
or
shows
two
a night.
in.
You could do a
Yeah.
5 o'clock and an 8 o'clock.
Oh,
Like,
that'd be great.
you could double your capacity. Anyway.
I honestly don't mind throwing another song or two in, but like another hour, no. I don't need an intermission for a Disney show. Thank you.
All right, so Dick, I'm gonna rewind to fast forward. So
Rewind to fast forward.
Hans being like a surprise villain doesn't work in Frozen, but it's less important because it's not really about Hans. Do you think the surprise villain, spoiler alert, in Big Hero 6 works? Structurally, emotionally, whateverly.
Here's the thing. I don't really care. And that's
No, it's a similar...
like, it's not that it works or doesn't work. It's just like, well, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, who cares? Because it's not like, so the idea is there was this industrialist, Elon Musky, Steve Jobsy
like Cray
kind of guy called Cray, and he wanted to buy Hero's like nanobots or mini bots things that he made, and Hero won't sell them.
Because
there's this professor who's more benevolent. And he's like, I'll teach you science.
And he specifically says, don't sell to Cray.
Right.
He cuts corners and just to make a profit, and he won't do your invention justice.
Right. So Hero see, now I don't know. Okay, so Hero is Cray wanted to buy them from Hero, and Hero said, no, I'm going to go with this guy who's going to teach me science instead. Mm-hmm. He leaves the building explodes.
Yeah.
And we think that
The professor.
we think that the stuff is gone.
Yeah.
The invention's gone. As it turns out, the professor is a supervillain now, and he has them. But we thought it might be Cray, but I didn't really think it was Cray.
No, they dangle him as like the first Scooby-Doo villain suspect.
And
like
it's
very obvious, almost by a Scooby-Doo character.
Well, yeah, I was
That
going to say
T.J. Miller character is basically Shaggy.
it's the dumbest character. Well, it's Fred.
His name is Fred.
His
yeah,
name
that's
is Fred.
true. That's
so,
true.
but yeah, he's the dumbest character. So for him to have like solved it didn't make sense.
Yeah. And
So-
that early also.
So at no point was I like, it's Cray.
Right.
I was like, it's someone else. I thought it might be the brother. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the surprise of it being the professor, I don't know. I don't care.
Well, and I'm a little confused on timeline. So obviously his daughter being teleportation frozen had to happen before the
The
fire.
professor's daughter was teleportation frozen before
It
the
had to
fire.
happen before the fire.
But I think very recently before the fire.
Yeah. But also, like, I feel like then he would have just, when he had him there with, at the science fair, would have just been like, hey, yo, you killed my daughter. Get away from this guy. Like, if it's so fresh, you would have thought that maybe he wouldn't choose his words so
Yeah, there's a lot of
wisely or cryptically. Like,
there's a lot of stuff like that in this movie that I just to be honest, the beginning of this movie bothers me more than the end.
interesting.
Yeah.
Say more.
So the beginning of this movie, we see this super brilliant robot genius kid named Hiro in like a robot fighting arena. And his brother's like, yo, you shouldn't be in that robot fighting arena. You should be like using your genius for something more more good. And our hero is like, well, I don't want to go to nerd school with you. Why not?
I think that's more like brotherly teasing. I didn't read it that way, but I understand your...
But like he
Yeah.
often calls it nerd school, and even the characters that he meets that go to that school are like, oh,
But
welcome to nerd
The
school.
instant he sees it, he's like, I want to go to there.
Yeah, because his brother works in like a experimental robot lab. Did
Yeah.
Hiro not know that?
Yeah, I mean, he's also 14. I feel like that accounts for some of it. Like, he's young.
Hiro, I am in an experimental robot lab at school.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'd be very interested in that.
Well, I didn't know it could slice apples.
Yeah, it's there's just like weirdness at the beginning where I'm like, I don't really buy all of what's
Sure.
going on, and I think some of it is I would guess because they're pulling from source material and they want to include
Sure.
as many of the things as they can
Sure.
without like overwhelming us, but it just leads me feeling inconsistencies in the world,
Yeah.
even if there aren't any.
Yeah.
Like, even if, like you said, that's just brotherly teasing and it's like...
No, that's fair.
But I just, like, I feel the inconsistency.
Uh-huh.
So this movie doesn't actually hook me until we get Baymax on screen.
Baymax, I mean, yeah. Frozen has better characters in general than Olaf, but Baymax for me is the Olaf that, like, every time he's on screen, I'm like, oh, what's he gonna do next?
Yeah.
Like, it's so funny.
So let's talk about our white fluffy characters.
Hornberger.
All right, so we'll start with Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Oh, not Olaf, Baymax.
Baymax.
You said Hornberger.
I did say Hornberger. People should be using Scott Adsit for more things.
Yeah.
Scott Adsit is the actor who plays Pete Hornberger on the sitcom 30 Rock. He's great in it. It's like this side character, but everything he says is great. And it's kind of like a sad sack guy. You don't imagine him being a robot in a Marvel movie. I keep saying Marvel.
You're doing really good.
You don't imagine him, being the voice talent behind a Marvel robot on paper. He is amazing.
He's great.
He does a very good, like, kind of like affected robot, like gentle voice. He does a very good drunk robot.
Yeah.
Like, when his battery gets low, he just basically becomes a drunk robot. I could climb this. Starts rubbing a cat as a hairy baby.
Yeah.
Hairy baby.
He's great. He's tremendous in it. And
so good.
I would say that the character of Baymax is really excellent at both being like, because he is sort of the comic relief for a lot of the movie because he's slow moving and slow thinking, and very like just watching this giant robot guy like twinkle.
He is not fast.
He is not. I am not fast, he says. But watching him like tiptoe around a thing so as not to knock it over, very funny. But he also is the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
He captures. He takes on both, and like leaving other characters to be more of whatever they want.
Yeah. And it's just really neat that as this like robot who is programmed to do healthcare, it's a neat conceit for then it to kind of be the surrogate for Hero's brother, and also both figuratively and literally the thing by which he moves past his grief.
Yeah.
I was reading that the plot of this movie is it's loosely based on the Marvel series, that it's mostly a fresh story. So that's like I don't even think it's a healthcare robot, and I think Baymax is kind of just this like shape-shifting alien troll kind of dude in the comic. And so even just the the physical design was inspired by a visit the animators made to like an actual robotics lab
Nice.
where they were messing with inflatable vinyl. And I think it adds a lot. And the other thing is, he was supposed to appear only like halfway through the movie. In original drafts, they had to redo basically the first act of the movie after a lot of it was finished to introduce him earlier.
This makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, say more.
Well, I mean, my biggest problem with this movie is the first act being like kind of inconsistent and rushed. So that would explain a lot of why that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And I think it's good that you introduce him early on because halfway through, I just think it wouldn't stick the landing.
And he becomes, like I said, he becomes the heart of this movie. He's an emotional support to Hiro, and
without actually having emotional skills.
right, without actually having emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he also he keeps asking the question, how will this help, or will this help?
Yeah.
And that question, like by the end, it's almost an accusation. And at the beginning, it's just like
I fail to see how this will help your mood stability. Yeah.
Yeah, he's such an innocent, and it's really like, will wings make me a better healthcare provider? Yeah. Okay. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And like the moment where they're flying for the first time and he like dips him down, he's like, I sense your whatever it is, like serotonin levels are way up. This can conclude now. And Hiro hesitates, and then Baymax falls, and then flies again, like because he instinctually knows, like, all right, let's do this again.
Let's keep this going because this treatment is working.
Yeah,
this treatment of flying you around.
And it's like you said, it's neat that it makes you as the audience, and it makes Hiro the character kind of process it that way each time he asks, and each time that just like this distraction, having something to work on and work forward on, does make him rise up out of his grief and helps him move forward.
Who's our lily white innocent in Frozen?
Oh, absolutely, Olaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me about Olaf.
I love him so much. Similarly, Josh Gad does an excellent job. Dick, you can say anything you want about Josh Gad in other movies. A lot of it's true. But this movie is like
Everything I've ever said about Josh Gad is 100% true. He's terrible if I see him. If I don't, he's
So what
great.
is the other? You said there's two.
Book of Mormon.
Oh, because you only listened to the cast album.
I mean, I never saw him.
I never saw him. Okay. I bet he'd be great. Anyway, like Pitch Perfect. This is like Ellen DeGeneres as Dory level of like voice acting where like just his reads of things
It just syncs up correctly.
And it's really good writing for this character because he never says a line that you're expecting. It's all like, right. I just, the Sven and Sven thing is like the most obvious.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-minute running gag that you forget about until he says it again. He's introducing.
Olaf was confused.
Who's this donkey-looking fellow? Sven. And who's the reindeer? Sven. Oh, Sven and Sven. Easy for me to remember. The moment is dropped. It could have been a punchline on its own. But no, he addresses Kristoff as Sven 3 more times. Like, it's far enough apart.
And then, like, later in the movie...
the trolls, I think.
Yeah, something is, like, I think... Yeah, like, they find
trolls
out...
call him Kristoff.
And that blows Olaf's mind.
Oh, Kristoff.
But the reveal, like, but the rest of the cast is like mind blown by something else.
Yeah,
and it's a really nice payoff.
Yeah,
for a very long running gag.
Or just it appears I've been impaled. Like just the delivery. He does this like little grunt laugh after or before most lines, and it gets me every time. The knocking guy, like, knock. Just knock. Do you think she knows how to knock?
Yeah. It's really good, and it's not overdoing it. Like in certain shorts.
Yeah.
And it's nice not having him there from the beginning because he would be too much.
He would be too much for 100 and whatever
4
minutes.
minutes, yeah.
But they put him in at the halfway mark, which is correct. It's rightly proportioned.
And it's really funny. It's my favorite thing Josh Gad's ever done.
And he's comic relief, comic relief, comic relief up until he's one of the only characters left who can help Anna, and then he does, and then he starts a fire for her, even if it means him melting, or like,
Yeah.
and he does deliver heart by the end of it, and he's
Yeah,
so
he does.
naive and innocent. I mean, his whole conceit, his big song is he wants to know what summer feels like.
Yeah.
Like, should we tell him? No.
No. It's interesting how both of these movies take this innocent character and use them to, like, and Baymax does sacrifice himself. Olaf almost sacrifices himself to save the main character.
And they lighten these movies that on their own cover some very dark things. Both movies have death. Both movies have alienation and grief and fear versus love. I mean, the one thing I will say about the surprise villain, even if it's less consequential in Big Hero 6, is that it does provide a foil that this man's grief of his daughter disappearing takes the form of him exacting this like supervillain revenge.
Yeah.
Versus Hero's grief is, okay, how can I eventually it's like, how can I help people?
Right.
Someone needs to help.
I would have loved to see Hero go a little bit farther in the revenge thing, because the parallel is there. Because at one point Hero reprograms Baymax
Yeah.
to just be a killing robot.
Just killing Professor Callahan.
And so I would like to see that taken a little farther.
Yeah.
Can I talk about a part in each of these movies that just bothered the heck out of me?
Sure.
It's when our main character says something and then everything changes based on a dumb or non-existent observation.
Explain.
Great. So in Big Hero 6, there's this fight scene at the end, and everyone is trapped. Everyone is about to be like destroyed or crushed or something. And then our hero says, "Hey everyone, use your brains. Think of a different way."
Look at it from a different angle.
And then everyone thinks of a different way and they escape.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
It's a weird like paramotif besides like grief and forward momentum.
It's like using
looking at
your
things
brain and looking
at a different angle. Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah, I don't know.
it drove me nuts.
Okay. That's fair.
Because he's like, "Hey everyone, be smarter," and they're like, "That makes sense." You know what? I should have tried escaping this.
But they all escape cool.
Yeah.
Then
Oh.
what is it in Frozen?
Love. At the end, Anna sacrifices herself, and then she's like, I think Olaf's like, "Oh, true love," and Elsa's like, "Oh, love," and then uses love to unfreeze everything.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
And it's like,
when
was
you were
she
saying,
using other emotions to freeze things?
Yes.
But it
So
was.
I think it's before that moment. To me, it is clear that whenever Elsa is most afraid,
Okay.
that's when the most things get frozen poorly.
They get frozen poorly.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think just like the trolls say at the beginning, she has to control her power. Love will win, fear will destroy things,
Yeah.
right? Like they literally say that. So to me, what becomes a little I think I know what they wanted, and I think they kind of ended up showing a different thing than they wanted to show.
Yeah.
The act of love, I think in their mind, the act of love is Elsa finally giving into her love. Because if the act of love was Anna shielding Elsa, why
Yeah.
would she freeze?
She-
Only an act of love can unfreeze. So that wasn't it.
I disagree.
She only unfreezes after Elsa like hugs frozen Anna.
I see that differently.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she's just freezing because she freezes.
You think it's like taking effect at
Well,
like
her hands are already like blue.
like it takes like 30 minutes for an Advil to kick in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like she just happens to freeze at that point.
Okay.
She was going to freeze either way.
Okay. And her selfless act of love
Like takes a second to kick in.
takes a second to kick in. Okay.
That's how I see it. That might
Yeah.
not be how it's intended. That might
Yeah.
not be it, but that's the way it looked to me.
No, and that's fair. That would make more logical sense.
Yeah.
But I think
But it does make sense
to
that
me, Elsa is the one who needed to choose love. Like Anna, Anna sacrificing herself for Elsa is very much. It reminds me of Moana. I'm like, well, you were gonna do that anyway.
Yeah.
Why is this a big deal now?
and that's why I kind of see Elsa as like, especially with the context of Frozen 2,
Mm-hmm.
Elsa kind of sucks.
yeah.
That's all.
She's got the best songs.
I mean, yeah, but just as a person, she kind of sucks.
Yeah.
She like ignores her sister and tells her what to do and takes advantage of her.
Puts other people in danger for
Yeah.
her own gain. Yeah.
Kind of sucks.
Yeah. I mean, she is a member of the ruling class, so that's kind of goes with the territory.
Might be on Wesselton's side here. Should have taken her out.
But yeah, it is a pretty quick so maybe like now she understands love with that act of selflessness.
Yeah, it's just a very.
And then she can make everything green again right away.
It's just like it's like when you say to someone who's depressed, like, try not being depressed.
Right.
And it's like, hey, you've been very scared. Have you tried love? I'll try love.
I think there's an argument for it, and I don't really think it's in the text.
Go for it.
But I think there's an argument for this thing that she was most scared of the entire time was losing Anna.
Uh-huh.
And so now Anna has been lost, and she is returned from the dead. So now she's like, that fear is unfounded. Or that, she's
Sure.
already, the thing she's most afraid of has already happened.
I will.
And now she can, release the tension
I'm
of
gonna
that
build
fear.
off that and say that one of the other things she was most afraid of is being close to Anna. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
actually embraces her, something
Mm-hmm.
that she refuses to do
Yeah.
through the whole movie is
Yeah.
to touch Anna.
Yeah.
She embraces her, and then the melt happens.
Okay.
It's just the line that bothers me.
Yeah.
to be honest.
An act of true love.
Yeah.
But anyway, as much as we're nitpicking at these movies,
We love these movies.
these are 96 percentile movies, I feel like, for me.
Frozen has a lot of skips for me. Like, if I've got the DVD going, all right, there are a couple of chapter skips.
Sure.
Like, I can bypass most of the action scenes. And also, I always forget that there's like a kind of a Let It Go, Build a Snowman reprise. Is it Snowman? What is it? That
The
sort of reprise in the Ice Palace.
First time in forever.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that scene.
No, I'm saying I always
okay.
forget that.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I always forget that that's there.
Their voices work really well together.
Yeah.
Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel. Good work.
Oh, and yeah, Big Hero 6, like it's got some structural problems, and T.J. Miller's kind of a creep, but I really, man, he's funny. So
He should not be getting jobs. That's okay.
well, I don't think he is.
No, it's not
really.
okay. That's good.
But yeah, Big Hero 6, great. I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
We still, when we bump fists, every once in a while we'll go,
Oh my gosh.
like Baymax does. So.
That's that reliably makes me laugh out loud the way they do it. Dick, are we
Yes.
ready for the final
Yeah.
cut?
Yes.
All right.
We are ready for the final cut.
Dick, I'd like you
Kate,
to shout out a scene.
I got back from vacation last night.
You did.
At
Less than 24 hours ago.
11. Mm-hmm. I couldn't fall asleep until like 1:30 or 2.
Oh, yeah? Are you ready to go to bed now?
I've been ready to go to bed since I woke up.
All right. So, Dick,
Yeah.
shout us out a scene in Frozen.
No, you.
Okay.
Go.
I mean, at the risk of beating a frozen horse, Let It Go is a great scene.
Yeah.
The song is great. The like Idina Menzel, excellent performance.
Yeah.
Lopez's excellent writing.
Yeah.
And the animation goes with it. And I think this is like, for all the cynical people like, well, Disney is just making money. This is the thing that Disney does better than anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is live action. They do the best musical sequences. I've never seen a live action filmed musical sequence better than my favorite Disney musical moments.
Like, Prince of Egypt comes close in some areas.
Right.
And like,
but it's a lot of people who used to work for Disney.
Disney people.
They had
right?
kind of perfected it.
Yeah, there's like some Don Bluth that is nice, but it doesn't quite get there. I know you're giving me a face.
I guess he did Anastasia.
He did Anastasia.
Well, you're talking about songs and Don Bluth movies.
I really enjoy No Cats in America. I think that's a really well staged song.
So like high points of musical animation scene: Circle of Life, Beauty and the Beast, Part of Your World.
Yeah.
Let It Go.
Yeah.
Like, it is it's little bit
there.
simpler than some of those scenes. Huh. It's probably the closest to Part of Your World, but the detail in which they, like, every single piece works together to show the, like, unburdening of Elsa's fears and her slow gain of confidence and, like, being okay in her skin, literally being okay in her skin and her powers. She starts the song doing little, like, snow bursts from her hands. She creates an Olaf. That's a nice Easter egg for later.
Yep.
She makes this staircase in, like, the first chorus that's, like, kind of, like, icy and scraggly.
And she starts walking
and then
up
she starts walking on it, and it smooths out and becomes shinier, and her voice gets, like, steadier and beltier, and by the end, by the final chorus,
the music is swelling, and
music swells. She's creating these giant, silvery, shiny columns. They're already perfect. They don't need a second
frozen fractals all around.
gloss. Frozen fractals all around. Yeah, like the little point in this song where the lyrics just become a lot of, like, cold metaphors, and it seems like much. You're not looking at Elsa. You're looking at the architecture. Like, it's so well directed.
Yeah.
And every single creator who is a part of it knows the through line, knows the arc, and it is flawlessly executed. I mean, there's a reason that 7-year-old boy said, if she was real, I'd marry her. Like, it's not even like a romantic attraction. It's just the moment is so big that you have no choice but to be blown away by it. And kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos. There's
It's
a reason
tremendous.
that everyone got sick of everyone else who wanted to hear that song on repeat.
Yeah.
And me being part of the latter group, I had that song on
And
repeat.
we had this discussion. I remember hearing when I was a kid the pop version of A Whole New World.
Yeah,
on
or
the
like the
radio,
Elton John
or
Lion King.
The Elton John Lion King.
On the
this
radio.
one, the Demi Lovato. Is it Demi Lovato?
There's a Demi Lovato pop version of Let It Go.
And that peaked at like number 24 on the charts.
That's the one they put on the radio first.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this is the radio song. And then it flipped. Like, I think people demanded Idina Menzel's version, the movie version.
And the movie version went to like number 4 on the charts.
Yes,
and
it
number
did.
1 on the dance charts.
And, like, we were trying to figure out the last musical theater song, Disney or not, that did that. And it might, like, Hamilton, the album, went number 1.
But there's
like,
not a single off
I don't
that.
think the radio played Hamilton.
No.
Not unless there was, like, a special promotion or something.
If the In the Heights movie does well,
maybe.
Because that's pretty radio friendly.
Yeah. But I think Seasons of Love must have been the last one charted. But yeah, I remember asking my kids that same year, the ones who had seen it, which version they liked better. And they were like 50-50. And then by the next year, like, Demi LaHoo? Like,
Demi Lovato
what version?
did this? What?
There's
What are you
only
talking
one. It's
about?
the Elsa
No,
version.
The Elsa version.
Yeah. It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's good.
And by the way, big fan of Idina recorded.
She's great recorded.
Not great live.
I will say that
Not great
like,
on live TV.
live TV, I saw now I'm even forgetting, If Then, not a great musical. She was great.
Yeah.
I was expecting wonky notes, and I didn't get any.
Yeah.
She was great.
She's
That was just a
amazing
few years
on
ago.
Chess Live in Concert.
Hey, there you go.
One of the best musicals ever made.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Dick, you have a scene shout out for Frozen that's
Yeah.
not Chess?
I'm gonna say Wandering Oaken's Shop.
Yeah.
I love that little hoo
Ooh.
like his little greeting, his little like his. I love the giant cute man.
Yes.
There's not a ton to it, but you also get like Christian coming in looking like a Han Solo or something, like, or looking like a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Right. He's got like
Yeah.
he's all iced over and he's just
frosted.
like, "There's carrots behind you. Get out of my way."
Yeah.
And then a nice reveal of him. So yeah, I'm just like Wandering Oaken's Shop makes me happy.
Yeah.
It's goofy and fun in a place where it really needed to be goofy and fun.
And it inspires like the main extra
The
song that is
best,
good
the
in
best
the Frozen
song
Broadway.
in the Frozen Broadway.
Hug.
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 Anyway. All right. So we got Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
You got a scene shout out? 'Cause
Do you have one off the top of your head?
I did, and now I've lost it.
Okay, I can go then. So scene shout out for Big Hero 6, movie about a big fluffy robot man. I guess my scene for Big Hero 6, my scene shout out for Big Hero 6 is when I'm sorry, the brother's name, do you remember?
Tadashi.
Tadashi. Tadashi has died, and Hiro is dealing with Baymax for the first time. It is just delightful watching him and this giant robot try and like understand each other a little bit, and watching Hiro a little bit imprint some. I think Baymax takes the place of Tadashi in some way. Like he's Hiro's new big brother in like a kind of weird way. And I think even in that first scene, you can kind of see him imprinting some of that big brotherness on the robot. So I guess just in general, that. Also, second minor shout out to the scene where they're in the police station.
Yeah.
And Baymax is taping up
Scotch
holes on his arm. Very slowly and patiently scotch taping himself. How about you, Kate?
It's more of a moment shout out.
Yeah.
You see like the scenes after Tadashi dying. It's like a little bit of like a silent montage, and then the first scene where you see Hiro again is you're told it's like weeks later through the storytelling, and he's just kind of either on his computer or reading a book or something. His aunt Cass, who's like
she's great.
low-key star of the movie.
She's so great.
She comes up and she has a plate of breakfast. She says, "Breakfast, how you doing?" And she puts the breakfast plate down, takes the other plate away, which is full of all three
Like,
courses
clearly
from
dinner. Yeah.
that he did not touch. And she makes no mention at it. She just clears the plate, asks him, "Oh, hey, the school called again. You can still, enroll because you got in." And it's a neat moment that tells you everything you need to know about the last, 6 weeks or 4 months, whatever it is, that she's trying to get back to a normal, but she's also giving him time because he's 14, and you see how he's processing it, you see how she's processing it.
Yeah.
You see the passage of time. It just really neat.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. If you were to
Ooh.
decide, which do we do first?
Crossover?
Crossover?
Yeah.
Sure. If you were to cross over an element from each movie, what would you do? What would you cross?
I would cross Aunt Cass over to Frozen. Just to whip these girls into shape.
Yeah.
Because one, I think Aunt Cass and Anna would get along really well.
Yes.
But also I feel like There's a joke in Big Hero 6 that I also think would work well in Frozen. Like it just kind of has that feel where Tadashi picks up Hiro on his bike. He like rescues him from a fight earlier, and then he goes, "Are you okay?" And Hiro goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Then what were you thinking?" And he starts hitting him.
Yeah.
And then the same thing happens later with Aunt Cass, who's like, "Are you boys okay?" "Yeah." And then she grabs them both by the ear. "What were you thinking then?"
Yeah.
So I think she would be a good mother figure to Anna.
Aw.
Yeah.
She'd be good at getting them both through their grief of their parents passing too. That would be.
And
they
she
needed
might have taught Anna to not fall in love with Hans's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Kate?
Yeah. Let's say speaking of Hans.
Speaking of Hans.
Let's
Yeah.
What do I want to do here? Yeah, let's switch. I'm going to make it up as I go along. Let's switch Hans and Professor Callahan as surprise villains. And so I want Professor Callahan to have maybe a different backstory because, like, robots and teleporters don't really work in Frozen, but, like, some kind of background that'd
be like having some sort of weird fire lizard and also the wind and also some rock men and also water horse.
I can't. There's got to be a Moana 2 so that we can just.
Oh my God! Right.
Rip. Okay. I mean, Frozen 2 is very good.
It's great. Holds up.
I want a backstory. I want a Big Hero 6 backstory for the surprise villain that ties into clear themes of fear and love. It's not hard to do. That ties into the themes of Frozen.
Okay.
Better than the non-tied at all surprise villain
Deal.
of Frozen.
I accept that.
Abstract answer.
Kate, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
If you were going to pick a most valuable P, that could be like you're a person, a character, creative involved. Who's your MVP of Big Hero 6 / Frozen?
I got it's Baymax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Baymax is great.
Baymax, it consistent laughs, consistent like tears welling up in my eyes.
Yeah.
Such with Olaf as a close second because of this. I love when a character in a more traditionally presented children's movie just surprises the pants off of me. Like, just everything they say and do is new and different and somewhat absurd, and you can't wait for the next thing. I think like Stitch is one of these in a different way. Olaf, Baymax. There are others, but goodness, Baymax is fun.
Baymax is a blast.
I want one.
Yeah, same.
Also, it would just be a helpful resource
I'm pretty big and slow
in life. But you can't spray antibacterial on me when I scrape my
I mean, if we got
arm.
some Bactine, I could. It's not that hard.
Dick, who's your MVP? Or what?
Not Hans, Kristen Anderson, Lopez.
Oh.
You see what I did there? Yeah.
Kind of.
Not Hans and not Hans Christian Anderson.
There's a lot of...
But Kristen Anderson, Lopez, and Robert Lopez.
Okay.
That's a double MVP.
Yeah.
They, like... So, I was already a fan of theirs from Avenue Q. Mm-hmm. Or that's specifically Robert,
That's
right?
Robert. Mm-hmm.
And Book of Mormon.
Robert.
And I didn't really know Kristen Anderson
But
at
you
the
do
time.
now.
I do now. Absolutely, I do now. The voice of Rue. Yeah, I think I know Kristen
No,
Anderson.
the voice of Kanga.
Sorry, the voice of Kanga.
Rue is one of their daughters, just
Okay,
like
I
one
did
of the
pretty
Annas
good.
in Do You Want to Build a Snowman?
Oh, that's cool.
They think they're both their daughters, like the two little Annas. Yeah.
Aw, that's cute. Yeah. Well, anyway, they're great songwriters.
Yeah.
Clearly, they have entertained me a great deal in their previous works and also their conversation with Lin-Manuel and
Stephen Schwartz.
Stephen Schwartz.
You've never heard of him, and Alan Menken.
Yeah. Which we talk about in 30 Days of Plus. If you want to go back and listen to that for whatever reason.
If you want, yeah.
If you want. It's a good episode, though.
Yeah.
But also you should watch that. It's on the Beauty and the Beast special features. Is that correct?
25th anniversary. It's on Disney Plus.
That's what I mean. The
Yeah.
Disney Plus Beauty and the Beast
Oh, you
extras.
have to find your way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably
the searching
on
is still
the Blu-ray
bonkers.
too. Here's the thing. Let It Go is a beautifully written song. The Do You Want to Build a Snowman is a beautifully written song. Love's an Open Door is kind of forgettable, but great. Reindeer Are Better Than People. Awesome.
Yeah.
Summer. Great. I love Fixer Upper. I know other people don't, and that's okay.
I have come around to the Trolls.
I enjoy the Trolls.
They did not make sense the first time.
I really love that song.
But it's like my favorite line in maybe musical theater.
Which one?
We're not saying you could change him, but the
Because people don't really
bad
change.
choices
Yeah.
when they're mad or scared or stressed.
Yeah.
It's like, it just puts it out there. You're like, whoa,
Yeah.
yeah, they do.
And also, that's where we get to see. I want to call him Sven, but his name is not Sven.
Kristoff.
Where we get to see Kristoff be awkward and
Yeah.
goobery.
Yeah.
And we, like, even though it's this crazy, strange family pushing them together, we get to see their relationship start to form. It's really cute. Anyway, so yeah, the Lopez's.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fun fact, Robert won his EGOT through this.
Oh.
He got the O of his EGOT, which was the last letter he needed.
Nice.
So, happy EGOT.
Oof, only one you got in that household.
There's the 30 Rock full
Do you
circle.
think that comes up in arguments?
That?
It's like, where do you want to
Yeah,
eat tonight? Oh no, I don't want Chinese. Okay, well, look, I have the EGOT.
I'm the
in
EGOT
this,
of the household.
so I get to choose. Do you think that comes up?
I don't know.
Okay.
I wonder how far Kristen Anderson Lopez is at this point. I wonder if Frozen won anything.
Well, she lives in New York,
But she
so
can-
probably within 10 miles.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Dick, the final
Final
cut of the episode.
Yes.
Do you, for Frozen, re-release, special edition, or send to the vault?
Special edition. I fix the Han stuff.
That's mine too.
I don't want to do much to it. I leave it mainly as is. Fine.
So he's
Just-
a bit of a fixer-upper.
Just make it a
minor
little
flaw.
more obvious.
All you need to do, so I'm going to take off that
Yes.
and say also same. All you need to do is add a scene or two of him getting corrupted. Like, oh, no, I am better at this than them. Or like, you have one of his older 12 siblings visit and like get him insecure and fearful, right? You do that. You do the reverse of what Elsa and Anna are doing. And then you just change a little bit. You do a re-record of his voice, which is the great Santino Fontana. I love him. On the scene where he says, if only someone loved you. He doesn't need to sound that like cartoony evil. And I mean cartoony like Dudley Do-Right. Like,
Yeah. Arch.
yeah, Arch. That's a good word.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you do a re-record on that scene. Maybe a little bit of just like different facial expressions to match the voice, but that it doesn't cost that much. You just do it.
Yeah.
And then you're not scratching your head for the last 10 minutes.
Just for the information, Kristen Anderson Lopez is 2 away from an EGOT.
Okay.
She has 2 Oscars for Let It Go and Remember Me, Coco. And she has 2 Grammys, both for Frozen.
Yeah.
But she does not have an Emmy or a Tony. So
All right.
she was nominated for a Tony
Yes.
for Frozen,
Yeah.
but did not win.
All right. She'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm not concerned.
Absolutely. Kate,
Yeah.
Big Hero 6. Re-release, special edition, or do you chuck it in the Disney Vault never to be seen
No,
again?
re-release.
Yeah.
Re-release. I don't see as much. I feel like I see some merchandise, like I see some backpacks,
Yeah.
but I've never heard a kid talk about it, and kids should be talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it does the grief thing. There's like a 8-minute section of Frozen 2 that tries to tackle grief in 8 minutes, and it
Does it work?
well, like it's a good song.
It works well? Is that what you said?
It works, but not in context.
Yeah. Not in this movie.
But this whole movie does it better.
Yeah.
Which I think is a complicated thing
Yeah.
to talk about and still be entertaining and not heavy and yeah. So a re-release. What about you?
Great. Same special edition. Same thing as Frozen. I just fixed the Han stuff in Big Hero 6. But honestly, like, it just needs another pass.
Yeah.
It needs another pass. It's a great movie. Super happy to watch it. There's stuff that just doesn't work. And like part of it is like building this superhero squad. They like want to make a big deal of like, hey, you need to have your friends around you.
Yeah.
But these people weren't really his friends.
They were his brother's friends.
They're like adults,
they're kind of like ghost friends.
almost,
Yeah.
that are like his friends.
Well, they would have been kind of his classmates.
They would have been his classmates,
Yeah,
right?
but
So
older.
there's like a lot of little things like that where I'm like, I see what you're going for,
Yeah.
but you didn't quite get there. One more pass,
Mm-hmm.
you know, get Chris Anderson in there, or get
Chris Sanders.
Chris Sanders is who I
Yeah.
meant. Get Chris Sanders in there, or get
Lord and Miller.
no, we love her. She did Brave
Brenda
until she was kicked off.
Chapman!
Thank you, Brenda
Bring
Chapman.
Brenda Chapman into everything.
Bring Brenda Chapman in
That
just to give it a
that is the official position of Cellmates podcast.
yeah.
Bring Brenda Chapman in.
Yeah. So just, you know, bring someone in, fix it up, and you'll have a 10 out of 10. Because this movie's, the parts that work in this movie work really well.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Oh, man.
right.
Hey,
Hey.
next episode is not tomorrow.
No.
We've got another
so it
2
is-
weeks.
So this is the last episode of 2019.
Unless I put the Frankenweenie episode out as a joke. This is the last episode of
congratulations.
2019.
Double Disney Plus episode. Look
Yeah.
at this. Look at
Holy
us.
cow.
No voodoo money involved in this.
No.
VUDU, not
Yeah, we,
Dr. Facilier
right.
money.
Well,
I
or
don't
Mama
think there
Odie.
was- No, or Mama Odie. That's true. There's
What were we watching that had a weird that had the Mama Odie song for some reason? Oh, it was the end of Descendants 3.
Dig a little
It for
deeper.
some reason had Dig a Little Deeper.
No, it didn't.
During the credits. Yes, it did.
Really?
Yeah, I mentioned that to you.
Oh, I missed it.
Oh my God.
Descendants 3 is the best Descendants movie, by the way.
True.
It's not on Disney Plus yet, only on airplanes.
And it's the best by a good margin.
Yeah.
Descendants 1 is fine. Descendants 2 is terrible.
It's also the looniest, which,
Descendants 3
which
is
what
great.
it should be
Yeah.
from the beginning. Anyway, so if you have suggestions,
Yep.
feedback,
Yeah.
love for us, unfrozen heart, love,
Sure.
super.
Then hit us up at cellmatespodcast@gmail.com, Cellmates Podcast on Facebook, Cellmates Podcast on Twitter, cellmatespodcast.com on the internet.
on the internet. And like, rate, review, subscribe, all those
Whatever you
annoying
got.
things. Just
Yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to do a call to action here.
and
Just do the things.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
May the next decade bring even more amazing animated features
Oh my
that we
God.
can Venn diagram.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye. Kate, are there any animated features you're looking forward to? I'm going to list some stuff, and you just tell me if you're excited about it or not. Bigfoot Superstar.
Is that a fifth Bigfoot movie we need to watch?
It's Belgian. I don't know. Bob's Burgers, the movie.
Okay.
The Croods 2.
Maybe.
Phineas and Ferb, the movie. Scoob.
No. But it doesn't look bad.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's not an animated movie.
Trolls World Tour.
No.
Tom and Jerry.
What?
Okay. Adam's Family 2.
Why? Oh,
Boss Baby 2.
oh my gosh.
Hotel Transylvania
Soul.
4.
I think Soul could be good or it could be bad.
I'm
It
just
seems
gonna
like they're trying to copy Inside Out down to the Tina Fey and the Amy Poehler role,
Sing
but that's
2.
fine. Why would you?
Ooh. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio
Oh, that's gonna give people nightmares.
with the Jim Henson Company.
Is it Disney?
It is not.
Huh. Oh, that's gonna be incredibly frightening.
Uh-huh. Music by Nick Cave.
Oh,
Ooh.
music.
Yeah.
Well, maybe just like back.
Yeah, I mean just
Yeah.
music. All right. Spirit Riding Free.
Stallion of the Cimarron?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Is it a three...
Well, so Spirit Riding Free is a computer animated series based on Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. So Spirit Riding Free, the movie, will be the movie based on the series based on Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. Are you excited for it? Kate, yes or no?
The movie with the troll and the dad pants
DC
looks
Super
better
Pets.
than it used to.
DC Super Pets. Are you excited about it or not?
No.
Minecraft.
No.
Spider-Verse 2.
Stop listing things.
Spider-Verse 2?
Probably. That'll probably be good.
Tiger's Apprentice.
Except for apparently Lego 2 wasn't good.
Tiger's Apprentice.
Maybe.
All
I
right,
don't know.
Last one. Un gallo congelado.
A rooster with ice?
I guess.
Ice cream?
Yeah, ice cream rooster.
Un gallo congelado? How do you spell the last word?
It's Congelado.
C-O-N... one word?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's no Wikipedia link to it.
Oh,
so-
no, the frozen rooster.
The frozen rooster. Kate.
Right? The congealed rooster.
Okay, are you
maybe.
excited about the frozen rooster?
I would rather call it the congealed rooster. Thank you
I
very
would
much.
rather call it ice cream rooster. All right, for Somebody's
That-
Podcast, I'm Dick Ward.
Kate Phillips.
Bye.